Hello creatives, and welcome back to our listen and share series for the month of July. We are on day 18 and my name is Jazelle. If you don't know, I hope that you're doing absolutely fabulous today. I'm looking across the kind of driveway where I am right now, and it looks like they're actually setting up to shoot a movie. I see a trailer, I see a group of people. They're starting to organize. I see this moving camera, that the camera kind of moves with the scene. So I see all of that being set up, and it's so cool because it's right next to me. Like, how freaking cool is that? I'm noticing the more that I open up, express, the more that I seek out an environment that is a better fit for myself, or seek out people or opportunities, the more that I go to places that are more energetically pouring into me, I just end up finding, or just happenstance coming into opportunities to either be surrounded with this. I mean, come on. They're getting ready to shoot a film right across from me. Like, come on. Or I'm standing in line and I was talking to this guy, and he happens to be an actor on a Broadway show that's running right now that I happened to see less than 2 weeks ago. What the heck? What? It's crazy. It's wild, and I love it. But moving on to our message for today. Our message for today is talking all about the importance of really tapping into your masculine and feminine energetics when it comes to just the things that you do, whether you are, I don't have my stand, so I'm gonna have to hold this with my hand right now. This arm is getting tired. But when it comes to your creativity, when it comes to taking care of yourself, when it comes to knowing when to put out energy and knowing when to reserve energy, that is really kind of a flow that you need to go back and forth into. And when you don't do that, what ends up happening is you kind of lose a lot of that willpower that you have. It ekes out. It's not wasted, but it almost just like spills out, and you feel completely depleted. And that's where you can end up going into scenarios or situations that you don't really want to find yourself in. You end up having to go into coping mechanisms or behaviors, just completely tapped out because you have overextended yourself in one area. It's like, let me see, like if you, now don't laugh at me, okay? But I've never driven a manual car, but I do know from riding in them that at some point you have to shift gears. And if you are going and the car is giving you the signal to shift gears, and you don't shift gears, you're going to end up doing more damage to that car, more wear and tear to that car. And some of it is repairable, it's going to cost you a lot of money, and some of it isn't. So depending on at the speed that you're going and how long you have been driving, and that one specific gear, instead of changing it, that is going to cause the wear and tear. So it's similar to our body, it's similar to our minds, it's similar to our creativity, it's similar to our physical bodies, our emotional bodies. It is similar to us. When you are going in a certain speed in a certain gear for so long, at some point you need to shift. And when you don't shift, you do a lot more wear and tear on yourself. So when we talk about the energetics of feminine and masculine, the masculine, and I've done a whole video on this before in terms of like creativity, but the masculine is where you're setting up structure, like you're really giving that push, right? You are creating boundaries. It's like someone gave me the example of, if you look at a riverbank and you look at a lake, right? The water is the feminine, it's flowing, but it's the edges, the banks around it, that guides it. It keeps it going. You think about the ocean, like the sand. There's something, an invisible line there that keeps it in that place, right? It spills a little bit with the waves, but for the most part, the ocean stays where the ocean is. When the ocean does not stay where the ocean is, catastrophe happens, right? And we've seen that in so many different ways. So honoring the masculine energetics, honoring that when it's time to go, when it's time to move, that we do those things. When it's time to push, when it's time to do things that maybe even be scary, then we do those things. But then also honoring when you've done that and you feel like, okay, I'm kind of tapping out, then you back off and you go into your feminine energetics. You go and you take rest. You go and you have play. You go and you maybe watch a movie or watch something funny. You go and you take a walk. You go and you hang out with some friends. You go and you just sit and have a nice meal. You go, and it's relaxing, right? It's something that's enjoyable. It is rejuvenating. It is renewing you. That is where the feminine energetics comes in. And it's not always stagnant. Sometimes it's sleep, but sometimes it's play. That is feminine energetics right there. Creativity, creation. And then there's times where it's like, okay, we need the structure. Let's organize what's happening next, what's happening after that, and what's happening last. And so I just wanted to bring that forth because I've been noticing in my life, but even in the past couple of days, even today, where I needed to really push forth in my masculine energy to get some stuff done. Some stuff that I'm still growing and expanding, and sometimes it feels a little scary to do, but I needed to go ahead and do it. And then after that, I was like, okay, I've done it, and now it's time to rest. It's time to go into my feminine. It's time to create. It's time to chill, and whatever that looked like for me at that time. But by going back and forth, it keeps me moving forward. It doesn't get me to this point of burnt out where I'm like, angry, I'm irritable, I'm hangry, I'm dehydrated, I just can't do whatever. It helps me to know when to switch, just like that car, so that I can go further. Just like that manual car, we will shut down if we do not know how to manage going back and forth between the masculine and the feminine. And if I was just working just in my masculine energy, I would shut down because I will be overworked. I will be overstressed. I will be tapped out. I would have nothing left to give, which would lead me to using coping mechanisms that maybe aren't the best for me, or going back into that limiting mindset that is not going to help me move forward, right? Or if I'm leaning just into my feminine, then I'm just like hanging around all the time. But I don't have the structure and the security to sustain me. You think about it in business. You can play, but then where's the money coming from, right? How do you know how much money you have? How do you know what's the next thing to do? You need that. And then even as creatives, we can play, lovely, bringing all that creative juice in and energy in, but don't nobody see it, right? We're not inspiring anybody else. It's just for us, and that's okay. But there is a level where we get energy and joy and inspiration by sharing just as much as we do by creating for ourselves sometimes. And there are times where projects are just for us, but then there are times where projects have come through us to and for someone else. And so it's important to have that balance with the masculine and the feminine, the swaying to and fro, the building Legos and then chilling out on the beach, right? It's time to have both of those. There's time for both of those. And so I just wanted to, as I am literally working this out, listen, yesterday I did something so scary, y'all. Like I had to take a moment in the bathroom and breathe and have a whole breathing session and have a whole meditation session because it was so, I felt everything up in here. And maybe, as we go on, I'll share a little bit more of actually what I did, but I had to do that. And so at the end of the day, when I returned home, I was so exhausted because I was in my masculine saying, okay, let's go. Yes, we're gonna do it. Yes, we're gonna do it. So in the evening time, you better believe I allowed myself time to rest. And then I went to sleep instead of getting into the coping mechanisms and staying up all night because I just am like done. And then I went to sleep for refreshment. And that allowed me to get up this morning and to keep going and to even do something else that allowed me to keep growing, to keep stretching, to keep expanding this container, to keep expanding my mind, to keep my mind on focus, not going back into listening to the mind gremlins, right? So we have to be able to move back and forth between the masculine energy and the feminine energy, the doing energy, the playing energy, the structure energy, the creating energy, the organizing energy, the resting energy. We have to be like that manual car, that stick shift that knows when to shift gears. So take it from me. Shift gears when you need to. And if you don't know, take this time to be able to go back and consider, okay, maybe this was a time that I needed to shift gears and I didn't. Or maybe this was a time that I shifted gears and I did, and look what happened. Look how much more I was able to give because of that. So I will leave it here. Be sure to like, subscribe, share this video, hit the notification bell so that you know when the next one comes out tomorrow. And until tomorrow, live fully, y'all. Bye.